Hello everyone, welcome back to plot number 13. Let me give you a little recap of what I've been up to in March. It's Friday the 13th of March and I've just popped down the plot to put some cabbage collars around the cabbages. A lovely comment from Stuart MK7 suggested to try cabbage collars to help prevent the slugs. Now I've never used these before. I was a bit surprised when they arrived, to be fair. They look like a bit of glorified cardboard, so I'm not holding out much hope, but we'll have a go. In for a penny, in for a pound. These are the cabbage collars I've gone for. They are Vitax, the biodegradable ones. As you can see, they are literally just pieces of cardboard with pre-cut slit in them. So I'm going to pop this down on the cabbages and see if they're any good. Like I say, I've never used cabbage collars before, so I will be interested to see the results of these. And oh yeah, they've already started to have a little nibble on there. Let's get them on now before the slugs get here. So I'm guessing you just rip it there. Do you put the slit into the ground, or yeah, I'm gonna go like that, I think. Go around there like that. So let's try and see if they work. There we go, so there's the first one done there. So I've just removed the leaf that was damaged by the slug, so they're all completely free of damage at the moment. Please tell me if this isn't right, but I can't imagine I've gone far wrong. I'll make sure there's no soil on there, like that. This one's got a bit of damage. I'll just get a capture of that to compare. I'll come down in a couple of days and see if there's any difference. Okay, that's all done. So let's see if the cabbage collars work. Also, I've just had a great idea about what I'm going to do with my weedy compost. So what I'm going to do is fill up the strawberry troughs and don't put the strawberries in, and just see if anything grows, and then just weed it off as it goes before I actually plant into it. And then we'll see actually how bad the compost is. What a great idea. Oh, timber! Right, I think that should do it. I'll water it in and then look after it like it's a plant and see what grows. It is the 21st of March today and I've got a few jobs I want to get done. I'm going to plant some potatoes in containers. I am going to plant out some of my flowers that are kind of hardy-ish, so they've been growing since last year, so they should be okay because they've weathered quite a bit already. So I'm going to take a risk and put half of those out, and I'm also going to chuck in some of the broad beans that I've been growing as well. So let's get on with it. So I have some cornflower. These are looking a bit sorry for themselves. I think they are just drying out too quick because they could do with going in the ground now, so those are going to go in. And I've got a few flowers over here as well, some of these hollyhocks and some aquiledias and foxgloves and stuff as well, so I'm going to pop them out as well. I'm going to go into the wild area over there. I'm not going to have any kind of idea about like where to put stuff. It's just going to be random. I kind of want the taller stuff at the back though, so it kind of goes down and towards the outer of the pot. So I'll have a quick Google and see which ones are the tallest ones. I'm sure foxgloves are pretty tall, aren't they? Hollyhocks, so I might put those at the back and then just the others at the front and just see what grows. Okay, so I've had a quick Google and yes, so hollyhocks grow the tallest, then we've got foxglove, then aquilegia, and then we've got the cornflower as well. So it's going to go in height from tallest to shortest. Let's get the hollyhock in here. This one can grow really tall apparently, so I want it at the back to make it look a bit like a screen. Oh, there's loads of worms in there. Get back in there. She's going to dry out in this weather, mate. I always put a little sprinkle of this water retaining granules in new holes for new plants, just to help retain moisture, but this time of year would probably be okay, to be fair. Oh, some decent roots on there. Probably could have stayed in a little bit longer. I'm going to put a little bit of feed in there as well. Got a bit of this Eco Thrive Charge. I'll put it in the hole as well. Just a little sprinkle. That's number 1 done. I'm not really sure about distances and things like that, so hopefully this will be okay. It's kind of a wild area anyway, so if things kind of overlap and merge into each other, that's the vibe I'm going for. And who's to say the slugs won't eat everything anyway? I do have spares at home, plenty of spares to put out if we have a sudden hard frost, or, you know, like I say, slugs get them or whatever. So, in for a penny, in for a pound. I've got a guest already. Hey, mate. They're definitely in need of going in the ground. Drying out really quick, too quick even to water them at home in time. So, get them in the ground and they should pick up. I've got some self-seeded ones over in the corner of the bed, and they're absolutely fine, so I've trusted nature. It knows what it's doing. Bit of a stone there. Big old stone. This one's bone dry as well. Feel it. There you go. You'll be happy in the ground there, won't you? I'll give him a drink now. There we go, I've planted out the broad beans. I wasn't going to do broad beans this year, but this was the last few in the pack. And I won't be bothered if the frost gets them, because I wasn't going to grow them anyway, so whatever I get's a bonus. While I'm having a little break from planting out, let's have a quick look at these cabbages I planted last week and see if the collars have worked so far. Moment of truth, have they lasted even a week without getting nibbled? Yes, they have. Ooh, it seems to be working. Yep, not even a little suck on one of the leaves. I mean, that leaf I think was damaged before over here. But yeah, oh wow. Well, I never. Well, I never. That is a big bumble. Huge big bumble. Where are you going, mate? You can't live in there. What are you trying to do? Please don't live in there. You can live in that one, I suppose. It's gone up in there. Oh, God. Does that mean I've got a nest in there, or are they just chilling? Is it like a solitary one, or is it going to make a big old nest in there? Oh, dear. It's a big bumblebee. Could have been a queen one, could it? Or I don't know if they have queens. Anyway, onwards. I'm going to plant out my strawberries now into this compost that I took from my compost bin that is going to be absolutely saturated with weeds. So it's going to be fun. Okay, so these are my runners that I took off my plant at home, and I can't remember where I got the plant from or how it grew in my back garden. I can't remember. I didn't buy it, I know that for sure. So I must have either saved it for my last plot or found somewhere. So these are 3 strawberries. So I'm going to do 3 in this one and I'm going to do 4 in this one. And they're all the same variety, and see how they get on. Hopefully they'll smother some of the weeds. So that's how I'm going to plant them. So let's go with a magic click, shall we? And there we have it, all done. I'll give them a good water in. I have pre-watered, but I'll give them another drink just to settle the roots in, and let's see how they get on. Right, the next job I'm going to do is plant out my potatoes. So I've got 4 varieties. I've got 3 of each variety, and 2 of the varieties were recommended to, well, they performed really well growing in containers. So I've got something called poly bags or poly sacks, and I've grown potatoes in them before and at home as well, and they are brilliant. So for the first earlies that are suitable for containers or did really well in containers, I'm going to put them in there. And then I've got another 6 just to put in the ground as well. So I'm going to crack on with that now. With the container ones, I'm going to use this weedy compost and hope that the potatoes smother it, and then when they've finished and I tip them out, I can just chuck it straight back in the compost anyway. So yeah, let's try that. So these poly sacks are fantastic. They've got great big holes in the bottom there, so the drainage is fine. The only thing with them is they do tend to dry out fairly quick, so you need to keep on top of the watering. I'm hoping, because this compost is homegrown, it's going to hold a lot of moisture anyway. So let's fill it up. I'm going to put some water retaining crystals in here as well. I think spuds will pretty much grow in anything, won't they? This will be really fertile as well. There we go. Just a layer on the bottom. Put my spuds in. Good sprinkle of crystals. The eco-fried charge. I'm not measuring it. And then I'm going to cover these over. There we go. That'll do. And then when they start growing through, I will just top them up and roll the bag up. Better put a little label on them as well for now. Now on to the first earlies I'm going to pop in the ground. I've got 2 varieties. We've got Red Duke of York and we have Winston. That was one of my favourites last year. It was first earlies and they were the size of jacket potatoes. So I want to see if it'll happen again. I think they're good for baking, so they must be on the larger size. So we're going to pop them in. I only got 3 of each and plenty of space, so I'm going to put them at the recommended of 30 centimetres between them, and then 60 centimetres between rows. Let's do it. I'm going to plant them from this end. I normally plant everything starting this end, but I'm going to go down there because there's a nice big gap there. So first earlies is going to be at the far end. Out comes the trusty tape measure. So we want roughly 60 between rows, so I'm going to do it 60 from the edge there, so it's about there, 60 in that way there, so they're not hanging over the path and this side, because last year they were all over the path and everything. So let's give them a bit of space. Beans, we've only got 6. There we go, lovely jubbly. I pulled all the tape out and actually it only comes to there for 6 potatoes. So they've got plenty of room from the edge there, and then there's 30 centimetres between them, and then I've done a big old 60 centimetre gap. What a bloody racket! You hear that motorbike going past there? There's the main road that runs along here. What a noise! Right, as I was saying, yeah, and then the last 3, 30 centimetres between them there. So tiny little row of first earlies. All I do with mine is dig a tiny little hole and then put them in. I don't dig a trench or do anything like that, and then I put them in with the sprout facing up. That's all I do. Right, I've ticked off another job I wanted to get done today as well. So I've planted out my cauliflower, de purple, and some greyhound cabbage. Let me show you. There we go. So this is the de purple cauliflower. It is a large plant, so they recommend giving it a lot of space. So I've given it 60 centimetres. And then the one at the end is the cabbage greyhound, and that's a compact one. So it can have like 30 centimetres. So that's what that one is there. I've put cauliflowers. Oh, I'm getting tongue-tied here. I have put the collars on each of them as well from the get-go. So I'm hoping that these ones fly off to a great start without slugs. And of course, I cover them with nets as well. It is the 31st of March today, so the very last day, and you are bang up to date. So I'll just give you a quick overview of what's been going on, and I'm going to get some second earlies planted today. These strawberries I planted last week, still looking good. They've taken really well. I've even got some new growth on them now, so they'll be happy in there for this season. No sign of the first earlies poking through just yet. The ones I planted in the ground as well, they're not showing yet, but I don't want them to come up too early anyway in case we get a frost, which will knock them back. So this is good. I'm going to put my seconds in now. I'm going to do another row of seconds there. And I've also got a variety of early Maine. It's a purple one. I can't remember what it is. I'll have a look at the bag in a sec. So I'm going to put that in now because it's an early Maine. So we'll see. And then my mains I'll plant kind of mid-April or late April. Let's get it done. That's what they're called, purple rain. So they're purple potato inside there. You can tell by how purple the shoots are. So these are going to be interesting ones. So yeah, they're early Maine variety. The other seconds I've got is Wilger. One's there. And then I've got some Anya, which I've never grown before. These are like knobbly type ones. Like that. They're all kind of misshapen. So I'll give them a go. There we go, so there's the Wilger and the Anya both in there. I've done 30 centimetres between each potato and then a little gap between the row there, and then I'll just do the main crop in this section there. They need a bit more space. I have got some pak choi which I can harvest so if I need to go a bit further down as well. So right, I'm going to do the purple rain now as well. I'm going to treat that like a main crop, even though it says early Maine. Give it plenty of space. They're quite big spuds, to be fair. I'm going to do this main crop going in this direction as well, just to distinguish between the second and the early. So we'll do it this way. And these ones are going to have a good 45 centimetres between them. So I've only got these 3, purple rain, and then 6 more. So I've got loads of room to, for spuds this year. So I'm definitely going to give them good spacing. So we've got 10, 20, 30. So if I start that one about there, right there, right there, just move them all down. And then we've got, yeah, that'll do. There we go, right that. Loads of space between them. And I've got all of this bed as well to grow more spuds in or something else. So yeah, it's going to be great. Although it's still warm at home and it's not really getting frosty, so a lot of my plants have been okay, but actually this is quite an open area. And I've just spotted, look at these potatoes here. These potatoes have self-seeded from last year. Obviously I've left some in the ground, but look, there's all frost damage on there. So yeah, it's definitely still getting frosty down here. I have just pulled off the covers of these cabbages and 100% these cabbage collars are working because there's literally no damage at all apart from either what was already there or leaves that are touching the ground. So definitely, well, even that one's touching the ground and there's no damage on it. So definitely going to do cabbage collars for every cabbage and cauliflower going forward. Thanks for the tip. So this is what the plot's looking like at the end of March. Got quite a few bits in already. I've got loads at home, which I'm going to bring down, but obviously when it's a bit warmer and the risk of frost has passed. So yeah, roll on April and we'll see what April brings. Take care everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.